I cannot believe the call. You've got Marshawn Lynch in the backfield.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most painful or embarrassing moments in Super Bowl history. We'll only be looking at game-related moments, so sorry, Christina Aguilera, your national anthem fumble belongs on a different list.
He's being chased by BB. Watch out! Did he get across? No, they are not. That's going to be a touchback.
Number 20, Thurman Thomas can't find his helmet. Super Bowl 26.
Kelly dumps it off to Thurman Thomas, and here's Thurman Thomas exploiting a huge hole.
Before the Buffalo Bills could even start losing their second straight Super Bowl, they lost their gear. In a moment that serves as the ultimate bad omen, league MVP Thurman Thomas went missing for the Bills' opening drive. Why? Because his helmet had vanished. During a chaotic pregame sideline shuffle, Thomas's helmet was moved to the defensive bench, leaving the star running back frantically searching while his offense took the field without him. Thomas missed the first two plays, forcing Kenneth Davis to step in. While the Bills eventually got crushed by Washington regardless, this mishap remains the definitive symbol of Buffalo's Super Bowl disorganization. You can't win the big game if you aren't even dressed for it.
What a show Thurman Thomas is putting on tonight.
Number 19, Tony Eason's 0 for 6 meltdown, Super Bowl 20.
What a hitter he is. Second down and 10. Eason dragged down by Steve McMichael, fumbles. The Bears have it. They rule it. Yes, it is a fumble. And number 99, Dan Hampton, has it for the Bears.
Facing the legendary 85 Bears defense is terrifying. But Patriots quarterback Tony Eason looked like you wanted to be literally anywhere else. Eason holds the unfortunate distinction of being the first and only starting quarterback in Super Bowl history to fail to complete a single pass. His stat line for Super Bowl 20 is a masterclass in futility. 0 for 6 passing, 3 sacks, and a lost fumble. He looked completely shell-shocked by the 46 defense, leading to his merciful benching in the second quarter. While the Patriots were heavy underdogs, Eason's total inability to function remains the gold standard for melting down under the bright lights. It wasn't just a bad game, it was a non-performance.
He said he felt that Eason would still have scars from the earlier game when he was confused. You see what Eason is doing? He's jumping around. He didn't even know where to run on that play.
Number 18, the Blunder Bowl, Super Bowl 5.
Second down and many, many yards to go. Morton rolls out to the right. Gets the pass away down the sideline. Intercepted by Mike Curtis. At the 25, the 20, down to the 23-yard line. The Colts have the football.
Super Bowl highlights usually feature acrobatic catches and laser-focused passing. Super Bowl 5 gave us the complete opposite. Appropriately nicknamed the Blunder Bowl, this matchup between the Colts and Cowboys was a comedy of errors that seemingly set the sport back decades. The two teams combined for a staggering 11 turnovers, with the winning Colts committing 7 of them. The game was defined by tip passes, goal line fumbles, and confused officiating. It was so ugly that Cowboys linebacker Chuck Howley was named MVP despite being on the losing team, mostly because nobody on the winning roster played well enough to take the trophy. It remains the messiest, most disjointed display of professional football in championship history.
And just flat whip them physically, we thought we could do that. Now, we didn't do any of those things. We didn't whip them physically. We didn't take good care of the football. We didn't play well in the kicking game. We didn't do any of that stuff.
Number 17, Rich Gannon's 5-interception nightmare, Super Bowl 37.
Third and a deuce. Gannon flushed out, chased by Spires, and it's intercepted by Dexter Jackson.
It's one thing to have a rough day. It's another to single-handedly score points for the opposition. In Super Bowl 37, Raiders MVP Rich Gannon walked into a tactical ambush. He was playing against his former coach, John Gruden, who knew the Raiders' offense better than Gannon did. The result was a catastrophe. Gannon threw a Super Bowl record 5 interceptions against the Buccaneers. Even worse, 3 of those picks were returned for touchdowns, 2 by Dwight Smith and 1 by Derek Brooks. The Raiders' high-flying offense was completely dismantled as defenders jumped routes before the ball was even thrown. When your quarterback is the opposing team's best offensive weapon, you know it's over.
Second and 11. Gannon finally airs one out, and wouldn't you know it, he still completes that one to a Buccaneer. That's Jermaine Phillips with an out-of-bounds interception.
Yeah, and just complete frustration has come in now. I mean, that's the thing.
Number 16, the rocket screen, Super Bowl 18.
First and 10 with 12 seconds remaining. 1 timeout remaining.
Situational awareness is key in the NFL, and Washington failed the test miserably here. With just 12 seconds left in the first half and trailing 14-3, the smart move was to kneel and regroup. Instead, Joe Theismann attempted a play called the rocket screen from his own 12-yard line. Raiders linebacker Jack Squirick wasn't fooled for a second. He anticipated the throw, intercepted the ball at the 5, and casually jogged into the end zone. That play turned a manageable 11-point deficit into a blowout right before halftime. Widely cited by coaches and pundits as the worst play call in Super Bowl history, it essentially gifted the Raiders the title on a silver platter.
Picked off by Jack Squirick.
Number 15, Donovan McNabb's slow motion drive, Super Bowl 39.
And they are letting a lot of time click away here.
Unbelievable how much time they're spending in the huddle. I don't understand this at all, not getting into a no-huddle offense and trying to keep as much time on the clock as possible.
When you're down by 10 points late in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, you hurry. Unless apparently you're Donovan McNabb. In one of the most baffling displays of clock mismanagement in NFL history, McNabb led the Eagles on an excruciatingly slow drive against the Patriots. Despite the ticking clock, the offense huddled up between plays and slowly walked to the line, wasting precious minutes. Teammates like Terrell Owens later alleged McNabb was too winded to call plays, with rumors swirling that he even vomited in the huddle. Whether he was sick or simply choking under pressure, his lack of urgency infuriated fans and effectively suffocated his own team's comeback chances.
Well, even Freddie's walking around. You got to get him lined up and get on the ball, and they're still going to the huddle.
This is remarkable. I mean, Hank Fraley, the center, was saying, come on, get up to the line of scrimmage, and then Donovan called him back into the huddle.
Just looks like they're worn out. I don't know. There's no excuse for being worn out. This is a Super Bowl.
Number 14, Wes Welker's drop, Super Bowl 46.
Here comes Brady again, 7 plays later. Wes Welker wide open and can't bring it down. Oh my goodness.
The Brady-Belichick Patriots were famous for not beating themselves, which is what makes this moment so jarring. Late in Super Bowl 46, clinging to a precarious lead over the Giants, Tom Brady looked for his most reliable target, Wes Welker, to seal the game. Welker was wide open near the 20-yard line. While the throw wasn't perfect, drifting to the receiver's back shoulder, Welker got both hands on the ball, and then he dropped it. The drop stalled the drive and led to a punt, giving Eli Manning the ball back for his game-winning march. It was a play Welker makes 99 times out of 100, but in the biggest moment of his career, the Lombardi Trophy slipped right through his fingers.
With 4 minutes to go and the Giants having only 1 timeout left, that could have been the game for the New England Patriots. Instead, they're forced to punt, and Eli gets it with 4 minutes to go.
Number 13, Peyton Manning's pick six, Super Bowl 44.
And how huge is that? Instead of being up 5, they're up the full 1 score of 7, with Peyton Manning getting the ball back in a Super Bowl with 5.5 minutes to go. And
Peyton Manning is one of the greatest to ever play the position, but Super Bowl 44 contains the biggest blemish on his resume. Trailing the Saints late in the fourth quarter, the Colts were driving to tie the game. Reaching the New Orleans 31-yard line, on a critical 3rd and 5, Manning tried to force a pass to Reggie Wayne. He failed to spot Saints cornerback Tracy Porter, who read the quarterback's eyes, jumped the slant route, and intercepted the ball. Porter returned it 74 yards for a touchdown, turning a potential game-tying drive into a game-ending calamity. The image of Porter pointing to the crowd while Manning walks off in disbelief remains the defining snapshot of the Saints' historic victory.
just when you thought Manning was going to get this done, here comes Tracy Porter with the pick.
What a great read.
674 yards the other way.
Number 12, Neil O'Donnell finds Larry Brown, Super Bowl 30.
It was just a zone play for us there, and I think Neil O'Donnell, the ball got away from it, just slipped. He actually tried to hit a crossing route in my zone and ended up floating right to me. I said I was going to make sure I caught it, and I think at that time I was trying to score, get up and down the sideline, and get that ball in the end zone if I could. And it was a freebie, it was a gift, and gladly appreciated.
The Pittsburgh Steelers were statistically outplaying the Dallas Cowboys in Super Bowl 30, but they couldn't overcome their own quarterback. Neil O'Donnell committed two of the most inexplicable turnovers in championship history. Twice in the second half, O'Donnell dropped back and threw passes directly to Cowboys cornerback Larry Brown. These weren't tipped balls or acrobatic steals. There wasn't a Steeler within 10 yards of the catches. It appeared to be a total communication breakdown on option routes, but the result was devastating. Larry Brown was named MVP essentially for standing where O'Donnell threw the ball, as these two gifts handed the Cowboys their third title in 4 years.
On the second interception, we were blitzing, and we were sending everybody. I think Neil recognized that it was a blitz check, and I beat the receiver to the spot. And again, just tried to take it and get it in the end zone from there.
Number 11, Matt Ryan takes the sack, Super Bowl 51.
Ryan is sacked. What a play.
Everyone knows the Falcons blew a 28-3 lead, but this specific play is how they did it. Late in the fourth quarter, a miraculous catch by Julio Jones put Atlanta at the Patriots' 22-yard line. They were in field goal range with an 8-point lead. The logic was simple: run the ball, kick the field goal, win the Super Bowl. Instead, Matt Ryan dropped back to pass and took a catastrophic sack by Trey Flowers for a 12-yard loss. A holding penalty on the very next play pushed them out of field goal range entirely. That specific loss of yardage cracked the door open for Tom Brady, directly leading to the greatest collapse in sports history.
Toss to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl! Brady has his 5th! What a comeback!
Number 10, Garrow's Gaff, Super Bowl 7. This contest between Miami and Washington was shaping up to be pretty uneventful.
We have a team coming in here undefeated, untied. The Miami Dolphins. No team has ever come into the Super Bowl with an unblemished record. No team has ever won 17 games in a row in a professional football season. Miami is shooting for that record today.
Miami held their opponents scoreless until the final few minutes of the game, when Dolphins kicker Garrow Yepremian lined up for a field goal to make the score 17-0. Unfortunately, the kick was blocked. Instead of scooping up the loose ball and running out of bounds or even just taking a sack, Yepremian attempted let's call it a pass.
Here's Yepremian, and he lost the ball out of his hands, and it flops into the hands of Mike Bass, who made a good run here down the sideline.
It was tipped, and Washington defensive back Mike Bass snagged it and ran it back for a touchdown. The Dolphins still won, but Yepremian's foolish mistake came to be known as Garrow's Gaff. Imagine going down in NFL history for that.
I feel great that we won the game, but I feel very bad that I tried to be a passer.
Number 9, Cam Newton's fumble, Super Bowl 50. With 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the Carolina Panthers had the ball down 10-16 against the Denver Broncos.
2nd and 9, and Newton's pass wide of the mark.
Quarterback Cam Newton had recently been named MVP, and the setup seemed perfect for him to lead his team down the field for a touchdown and the victory. But Broncos legend Von Miller had other ideas. He stripped the ball from Newton for the second time in the game.
Rushing 4, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and it's still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
Instead of diving on it immediately, Newton backed away from the pile of men trying to recover the ball. Denver's T.J. Ward finally managed to gain possession at Carolina's 4-yard line. Just a few plays later, the Broncos scored, sealing their win and earning a second Lombardi trophy for Peyton Manning.
And the Denver Broncos have taken Super Bowl 50.
Number 8, wide right, Super Bowl 25. The Buffalo Bills had a string of bad Super Bowl luck in the early 90s, losing 4 in a row.
And now the Buffalo Bills beat the New York Giants in Super Bowl 25.
It started in 1991 with what had to be the most heartbreaking loss of them all against the New York Giants. With just 8 seconds to go and down 1 point, the Bills lined up for a 47-yard field goal.
Now Norwood tries to kick his longest ever on grass, 47 yards.
At that point in his career, kicker Scott Norwood was 1 for 5 on kicks over 40 yards. Unsurprisingly, he shanked it wide right and the Bills lost 20-19. Game analysts later noticed the holder, Frank Reich, had lined the laces up incorrectly, possibly causing the miss. Either way, Norwood's name is the one that went down in infamy.
No good! Wide right!
Number 7, safety on the first play, Super Bowl 48. This game was painful to watch from the very beginning, unless of course you're a Seahawks fan.
The Seahawks won the toss but put their defense out on the field.
That set the tone right there to let you know we come to play and we come to play defense first.
On the first play from scrimmage, Peyton Manning appeared to call it for the snap, then stepped forward to call an audible. Center Manny Ramirez didn't realize the quarterback had moved and snapped the ball anyway.
12 seconds into the game leads to 2 points. Right off the bat, the quickest score in the history of the Super Bowl.
It sailed past Manning's head and into the end zone, where Bronco Noshan Moreno recovered it. He was taken down, resulting in a safety at only 12 seconds into the game. It set a record for the fastest score to start a Super Bowl, and the Seahawks went on to rout the Broncos 43-8.
Pete Carroll is a Super Bowl winning head coach, getting a hug from Russell Wilson, who he drafted in the 3rd round.
Number 6, Jackie Smith's drop touchdown, Super Bowl 13. Smith was a star tight end in the league for 16 years, but this is probably the play he's most famous for. When the Cowboys faced the Steelers in 1979, they were down 21-14 at the half.
The end of the first half at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Super Bowl 13 with a score, Pittsburgh 21, the Dallas Cowboys 14.
Near the end of the third quarter, the Cowboys had a 3rd down on the 10-yard line. Quarterback Roger Staubach took the snap and found Smith wide open in the end zone. He fired the ball for what should have been an easy TD, but it bounced off Smith's chest instead.
And they're going to throw.
Oh, he's got it wide
open. Drop. Veteran Jackie Smith.
The tight end appeared to lose his footing as he bent down to make the play, though he later acknowledged that he should have made the catch. The Cowboys would lose that game by just 4 points.
The Cowboys came back with 2 touchdowns and there were 66 points scored. And for those that said that they don't score in Super Bowls, this one showed that they can.
Number 5, John Casey's kickoff goes out of bounds. Super Bowl 38. The fourth quarter of this game was electric, with the Panthers and Patriots scoring a combined 37 points in 15 minutes of play.
They always don't need really good blocking up front to make big plays.
The Panthers completed a touchdown pass to tie the game at 29 with 1:08 to go. If they could hold off the Pats, this game would be the first Super Bowl ever to go to overtime.
Casey's kick, way off to the side.
However, John Casey's kickoff went way out of bounds, giving the Patriots the ball at their own 40-yard line. With Tom Brady under center and the legendary Adam Vinatieri kicking, the go-ahead field goal was a cinch. The Patriots won 32-29.
Runs out of room, and the Panthers run out of time.
Number 4, Tim Krumrie's horrifying leg break. Super Bowl 23. After 2 gruesome injuries in the first 8 minutes of this game, both the 49ers and the Bengals must have thought they were cursed.
The Bengals' chances of winning took another big hit early in the first quarter, when a routine play changed the course of the game and Tim Krumrie's career.
49ers tackle Steve Wallace broke his ankle on just the third play, but that was nothing compared to what happened to Bengals defender Tim Krumrie during the Niners' second possession. While tackling runner Roger Craig, Krumrie horrifically shattered his tibia and fibula in his left leg.
I knew it was pretty bad because Tim didn't get up.
Come on, Timmy. Get up, baby.
I'm trying to get up. Thinking to myself, here you dumbass, you broke your leg.
He was carted off the field but insisted on staying in the locker room to watch the game instead of going to the hospital. That was until the medics insisted he could go into shock. Krumrie had a 15-inch steel rod implanted in his leg and, amazingly, made a full recovery.
I just think it was an adrenaline thing that I was excited to be in the deal, and it's a self-inflicted injury. It was nobody's fault. It was my own fault. I got too damn excited. I was just too much into the game, and I probably wanted it too much.
Number 3, Barrett Robbins goes missing. Super Bowl 37. When Marissa Robbins got a phone call early in the morning the day before the Super Bowl, she knew something was wrong.
You know, anytime the phone rings, not normal hours before 8 o'clock, it's not good.
Her husband, Raiders center Barrett Robbins, had mental health issues and had suddenly disappeared. It turned out that he had undiagnosed bipolar disorder and was experiencing a manic episode.
I was out of my mind, out of control. My life was unmanageable. I was completely living in a fantasy world.
Believing that the game had already been played and the Raiders had won, he'd taken a cab to Tijuana and partied all night. Although he returned to San Diego in time, coach Bill Callahan decided to keep him out of the game. The once unstoppable Raiders O-line broke down without their leader, leading to the aforementioned collapse of Rich Gannon. The final score was a 48-21 blowout.
We're world champs, baby!
Number 2, Leon's letdown. Super Bowl 27. When will players learn? Showboating before you've crossed the goal line is a bad idea.
It's a teaching lesson for me to always finish, but also to never give up.
During the fourth quarter, the Cowboys sacked Bills quarterback Frank Reich and stripped the ball. Cowboys defensive lineman Leon Lett scooped up the ball and ran it 64 yards for what should have been an easy touchdown. However, before he reached the end zone, he slowed down and held the ball out in a premature celebration.
Leon Lett would have scored, but he slowed down to celebrate at the 5-yard line, and when he did, Don Beebe, hustling, stripped it away.
Bills wide receiver Don Beebe came flying up from behind and popped the ball out of Lett's hand. It went out of the end zone for a touchback. Lucky for Lett, the Cowboys were already up 35 points by then. The fumble was embarrassing, but at least it didn't cost them the game.
Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, the Seahawks throw the game away. Super Bowl 49. You're the Seattle Seahawks, and you're down 28-24 against the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Brady, caught, touchdown, Julian Edelman.
It's 2nd and goal on the 1-yard line with 27 seconds left. You give the ball to all-pro running back Marshawn Lynch for an easy touchdown, right? Apparently not. Pete Carroll called a pass play, which was picked off by Malcolm Butler.
Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler.
20 seconds and one massive brawl later, it was over. The loss was shocking, but no one was more surprised than Seattle cornerback Jeremy Lane. He had broken his wrist and tore his ACL earlier. He woke up from surgery to see his team on the 1-yard line, then fell back asleep thinking he'd be bringing home a ring. He found out the reality the next day.
There's a lot of bright sunshine right now in Foxborough and all over New England.
Which of these Super Bowl moments made you cringe? Let us know in the comments below.